Well-known poet and writer George Moore once said, "The difficulty in life is choice." And I'm sure you can agree that when it comes to decision making, it can be pretty stressful. You see, what happens is when we have to make a decision, we want it to be perfect because we don't want to live with regret. But what brain science tells us, as soon as you're starting to think about making that perfect choice, you overwhelm the brain. The brain becomes overwhelmed with all types of emotion and you feel out of control and therefore you feel stressed. Now, I was recently faced with a decision that I had to make and I wanted to share it with you because you may learn something from my experience. So I was invited to give a keynote address. And then I was invited by my husband to accompany him on an overseas trip. The problem was the talk and the overseas trip fell within the same week. And I didn't know what to do because I wanted to go to both. I really wanted to attend the talk. I wanted to give the keynote address. I had been pushing for it for many months. It was a huge achievement that I had been invited. Yet I wanted to go overseas with my husband. I wanted to experience new things and explore and live and enjoy every moment. So what to do? Well, I committed the first cardinal sin when making a decision. I put it off. I didn't give myself a time limit. And so I found myself in this overwhelmed, paralyzed state of indecision. It's as if this weight had descended on my shoulders. And I was like that a couple of days. Every time my husband asked me if I'd made a decision, I just changed the subject. But a couple of days later, I woke up and I realized that I was operating from a very fuzzy, muddled mind and not a clear mind that I was used to. So I decided to book off the next hour and I gave myself a time limit that I had to make the decision by lunchtime. And I sat down with a pen and paper and I looked at the pros and cons of giving the talk and the pros and cons of going overseas. And then I tried to align them with my goals. What are my personal goals? What are my professional goals? My short-term and my long-term goals. And then I took it even one step further. I tried to think about my feelings, my gut feeling when I thought about the decision that I had to make. And finally it became clear. And I phoned my husband and I told him that I had made the decision to stay and give the talk. Was it the right decision? Was it the 100% perfect decision? I don't know. But at that moment in my life, with where I was, I felt like it was the right decision. And just the fact that I had made the decision, all of a sudden, my mind cleared. It felt as if the weight had been lifted off my shoulders and I could finally take a deep breath and move forward. And once again, brain science supports that. Because as soon as you make a decision, you clear your mind. What you're actually doing is you're stimulating the prefrontal cortex in a very good way, which reduces stress and worrying. So making a decision doesn't have to be perfect is very important. So the next time you're walking along the path and your path diverges, don't linger for too long. Make a decision and trust that you can forge a new path if the decision wasn't the perfect one. Just make the decision. I hope you found it helpful if you do have a problem with decision making. And I thank you so much for watching. From me, Niki Seberini, until next time, take care. Bye-bye.